Frank Abagnale Jr. is a name where the myth is louder than the record. So let's split them. The myth and what's documented. Court records from the late 1960s and early 70s show Abagnale was a teenage check forger and imposter who moved across the US and parts of Europe. He opened accounts under false identities, deposited bad checks, and withdrew funds before banks discovered the fraud. He exploited float times and used altered identification to keep the scam going. His methods were mostly low-tech, but clever for the era. Chemically washing checks to change payees and amounts, printing his own checks with magnetic ink character recognition lines, and using stolen or fabricated IDs. He also used social engineering, confidently acting like he belonged and leveraging uniforms or logos to lower suspicion. Documented outcomes? He was arrested in France in 1969 for check fraud, later held in Sweden, then deported to the United States. In the US, he was convicted on federal fraud charges and served prison time, ultimately paroled in the mid-1970s. After release, he built a career in fraud prevention, giving seminars for banks and corporations and consulting with law enforcement. The FBI has acknowledged he's been a lecturer and consultant, but not an agent. Now, the myth, largely from the book Catch Me If You Can and the Spielberg film, paints a much bigger-than-life story. Millions of miles as a Pan Am pilot, months practicing medicine as a hospital supervisor, and passing a state bar to work as a lawyer. Here's where researchers have pushed back. Investigations by journalists found little or no corroborating evidence for those marquee claims in airline records, hospital employment logs, or bar admission files. For example, Pan Am stated they found no records matching the alleged jump seat travel. Hospitals named in the stories reported no documentation of him in supervisory roles, and bar admission records don't align with the timeline in the book. Abagnale has maintained that parts of his story are true, while also acknowledging that elements were exaggerated for dramatizations. The bottom line from the record, he definitely committed check fraud and impersonations. The scale and the most cinematic exploits are disputed by multiple sources. So, what's the outcome that matters today? His crimes contributed to real financial losses, which led to tighter controls around checks, identity verification, and bank float. His later work, teaching about fraud schemes and advising on check and identity security. The verified story is a teenager who learned to exploit gaps in trust, process, and paper checks, who was caught, convicted, and later turned that knowledge into a successful consulting career. The rest, the pilot